travel around any city or in fact any place of historical interest, I don't know if you do this, but I sort of look at things and think, what's happened here? What's gone before? And it can be that sort of daily trip to work, can't it? As many people know, I cover politics in another job, and every single day I walk past this particular area, Millbank in the centre of Westminster. And then one day I found this picture online just by fluke, and it was such an evocative picture because literally, as I say, you walk past it without much thought. But on that day, that bus really, changed lives for everybody, didn't it? And that's the thing about history. We're walking through it every single day. And for some of us, at least, it's particularly fascinating because you kind of think, have we all forgotten everything, or simply the capacity to look at things differently and, look at them in a fresh light? I mean, what I liked particularly about the London Blitz spirit was the fact that people suddenly just went back to work in the very best way they could, battling on. We seem to have lost that sort of vigour, don't we, for pushing forward. And again, you see, literally in Westminster, I was walking around one day and I stumbled across this particular relic, which I wanted to share with you. Fascinating in itself, and as again, you walk past it and think, who lived there and what's the story behind it? As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today. Thank you so much as ever for joining me by the river, of course, very near, of course, as you can see, the Houses of Parliament, literally just waiting for a session to finish, and then no doubt they'll come out and want to offer their words of wisdom, their pearls of wisdom to the waiting media. Yes, I bet you can't wait. But it's things like this that keep me occupied in this wonderful job, because history, as I say, is all around us, and we should relish the fact that we can learn so much from the past. You see, literally, this particular fireplace in the very heart of Westminster in Vincent Street, well, it once belonged to a family, clearly. A family lived there, they no doubt gathered round it, keeping warm, maybe even listening to the wireless set way back during the Second World War. But that all changed on that fateful night. Now, walk along Vincent Street and you would not be blamed for missing this particular fireplace. It's very easy to do, in fact. You've always got your head down, maybe looking at your phone, that sort of stuff, and then you realise this wonderful relic. You can see, that this had been someone's house. And when you think about it, obviously, as I say, families absolutely lived there. Now, what happened was, it's very unsure whether this was a bomb from the Blitz or indeed where a V1 bomb landed. V1 bombs were used from June 1944 to predominantly, try and wipe out London from northern France. They were nicknamed, of course, buzz bombs or doodlebugs, due to the fact that you could hear the engine buzzing overhead before it cut out and started to drop with dramatic effect. Interesting about this is, literally the fireplace has been sitting there still almost in perfect condition for the last 80 plus years. And you can even see the imprint of the metal grate and the attractive brickwork that still remains. But of course, what doesn't remain is that person or that family's story. The only memory is this. And as this was happening on a daily basis, what one has to remember, of course, is that this was just one of many. But of course, not all of them survived in such a strange way as this particular one has done. Now, amazingly, this was underdeveloped really right until the 1980s. And it was somebody who was very clever as part of the building team that said, no, let's leave this here. This is a reminder that there was another life, there was another story. And we have to be grateful to those people. As I say, this is now sheltered housing, but an amazing place when you think. And I know I often say this, chums, when you're wandering around sort of London and stuff like that, just take a time to look at everything, because we have some wonderful architecture, as I'm sure many cities and places do around the world and up and down here in the brilliant United Kingdom. But sometimes there are things like this that make you stop in your tracks, rethink that so many people have been here before us, and more importantly, had a story to tell. And really, from time to time, we should take that moment to even just give them a thought, simply because, of course, they all mattered. And terrible situations happened during the Second World War, so many lives lost through no fault of their own. But at least this particular fireplace is a memory in Westminster that many can always just have a look at and give them the rightful time of day. Neil Sean, Westminster, London.